Okay, Michael, I'm gonna do this one for you real quick because I saw your tweet, right? Like, okay, um, okay. So there's the whole Patriot Act thing, right? And there's the spying, there's the public surveillance thing going on that we're a little freaked out about, and we don't want our liberties infringed upon. We don't. This is true. So you put out a tweet and you're like, you actually did it very high level. You did it very high level. You're like, oh, we have like 50 state agencies, and we've got this, and we've got that, and we got all this stuff, right? We actually have way the fuck more than 50 state agencies. So all of these local police departments, they are agencies as well. So like in my area, we've got Orange County Sheriff, we've got Irvine PD, we've got Huntington Beach PD, there's like tons of different, like LA County, you've got the sheriff, you've got the LAPD, there are way the fuck more than 50 state agencies. So just a correction on that. But okay, so here's the interesting thing. There was and there's a good movie that kind of explains this. I think there was a movie done, I don't remember how long ago, but like probably within the last 10 years, that was done on the Zodiac Killer. And it talked about how they were unable to catch him because these agencies are not allowed to share information. This is the weirdest fucking thing. Okay, so I was laid off last year from a company that did identity and security. And our primary line of business was law enforcement. We did facial recognition, fingerprinting systems, the live scans, where you like get fingerprinted. We did iris scans. We did all of this sort of technology that they are using. Now, obviously, we were just producing the technology, and we don't, it depends on like what legislation is passed as how they actually use that technology. But obviously, yeah, I mean, I think the Patriot Act should be repealed. In fact, in fact, there was one year when we had like an annual convention that we would do for our clients, and one year we were trying to do like a Star Trek theme, right? And so we were asked. They called a few of us in to answer a question of, what do you think is the most important thing that's coming up in identity and security in the upcoming years? The right answer, the answer they were looking for, and the reason they did not include my video, the right answer was facial recognition. This is such great new technology, facial recognition. My answer was privacy. Privacy, because these systems have been hacked. There was a big hack, a big government hack where they ended up getting like fingerprints of a lot of government employees. That happened, I think it was in the summer before the DNC hack. There was a big hack, and it was the same sort of BS. Like they were stealing information. They were trying to get like information on our government employees and stuff. So I said privacy is going to be a big thing. Like security is going to be the biggest thing moving forward. And how do we protect these systems and protect this incredibly sensitive biometric information? That's what's going to be fucking important. But they're like, no, facial recognition. And then like 2 years later, it was like 2 years later, there were tons of articles saying that people were working on legislation to get rid of facial recognition technology because they felt that it was racist. I don't know that it really is. I mean, okay. Now I'm going on a tangent, but I don't know that it's necessarily racist. It's that it doesn't know. Okay, so if you don't have a proper match, there's always an interpreter at the other end. There's somebody who has been trained in matching faces that interprets the data. So it's not necessarily that the program itself is not working properly. It's that whoever these agencies are hiring are making some assumptions, because they're the people who have to interpret the idea and determine whether or not it's a match or not. So it's a little tricky, because I mean, we literally were doing and I think this is a case study. I think this is a public case study. We had produced the facial recognition technology for like I think, I don't know if I'm remembering this correctly, but I'm trying. We had produced the facial recognition technology for like India for their elections, to for election integrity. So when you consider that we produced a system for a nation of people who are entirely brown, you can't say that a system like that these algorithms, it's basically algorithms, and it's code and shit. It's based on geometry. It's not based, it doesn't actually, it's not like analyzing skin color at all. It's analyzing measurements between eyebrows and measurements between here and here. It's measuring things, you guys. That's what facial recognition technology is, measuring marks on your face. So if we're going to say that it's like racist, it's because of the interpreters that they hire, because there has to be somebody at the end of that who's like, yep, that's a match. There's somebody at the end who is trained to identify whether it is properly a match or not, because you can't go entirely off facial recognition. It's not 100%. It's not 100%. It just brings up, these are some possible potential matches for what you're showing me right now. That's it. Okay, but the point being, if you look at that movie, there was a movie about the Zodiac Killer a few years ago, and it really explains very well about how police agencies are not actually allowed to share information with each other because of the laws that we have in place. That is one of the reasons that we now have the FBI database, right? Is so that if there is a serial killer situation, the information can get shared. But when it's local agencies together, they're not necessarily allowed to share information. So that's why it was very difficult to catch that serial killer, because he kept crossing over so many. I think this was like Northern California. And he kept crossing over so many different police agency regions that they weren't able to share their information and compare information. And it made it very difficult to catch him. It's stupid shit like that. So like, there's good things and there are bad things about sharing information. The bad thing is you don't want it to be like abused. You don't want a Patriot Act situation where they can like completely abuse it. But you also don't want to create so much fucking red tape that you can't catch the Zodiac Killer and then Ted Cruz gets elected to Senate. Just my 2 cents. My 2 cents, y'all.